Hello everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Rally the Peasants. I'm your host Daws, and I'm joined as always by my co-host, Henkie the Goat, now with his proper title.
Oh, let's clarify. You're the host. I'm the expert.
It's not a partnership, it's consulting.
Yeah, we got strict division of labor. You're the host. I'm the expert. Just want to get that straight.
So I guess I'm just here to keep control of what topics we talk about and pass the images, I guess, in the presentation. But yeah, so this week on everyone's mind, obviously, it's Ascent Seattle, which was in the last weekend. And of course, we had our Mr. Goat present at this event, having a better score than I hoped, because I'm gonna be honest,
You really can go screw yourself. You know that. When I lost round 1, I know for a fact you were thinking I told this guy this deck is trash.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I guess that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about. Obviously, Henkie'S deck. It's the deck that's on everyone's mind at this point, because I mean, like every single time the casters were talking about a deck, it was your deck. It was a very unique deck. So that is obviously the thing that also probably everyone clicked on this video to hear you talk about. But first, we're gonna have actually just ask you about generically what was your experience in Seattle. What was the event like? Matchups, just stuff like that. So yeah, take it away.
Yeah, sure. Event was pretty good actually. It was run quite smoothly, to be honest. And sometimes, much overtime, all that shit, many ties, but not this one. Games didn't go to time. The format seemed faster. So, as always, like all my opponents are amazing. There's like such lovely people to just beat.
It's good to know that they're graceful in defeat.
Yeah, most of them are. Some are salty, but like most of them are really nice.
That's good. The previous ascent to this one was Utrecht, right? That you attended.
Yeah, Utrecht was fun as well, but in a different way because I got to hang out with all the scrubs in the basement. It was so annoying. I was like round 6 or something. I was walking around and everybody's playing. I dropped and everybody's like, "You finished already? We have 5 minutes in the round." I was like, "No, man, I dropped."
I guess you only perform when you go to outside of Europe.
Yeah, US is much easier.
Is it because of the?
They think they're good, but
you heard it here, folks. I guess.
I always have to remember of this. We can do a quick story here. This Yu-Gi-Oh World Championship. The US, they always thought they had the best players, right? But they never won the World Championships. And then after like 8 years or something, some guy from Canada won the World Championship. And then all the Americans were like, "Yeah, North America won."
That's funny. Actually, it's always funny to see like the differences, because when it came to Utrecht, I guess a lot of the Americans kind of dominated the scene, right? Because I mean, it was obviously less Americans because it's Europe, but the ones that did come did have like obviously also very good performance. So, but it's fun to see that the home turf is like not giving them as a. I mean, you're the GOAT, obviously. I mean, they're just scrubs to you.
There are plenty of good players in America that came to Europe. But yeah, when you play an Ascent, you want the first 4 rounds basically until dinner break. You just want to get a good feeling, right? You just want to get easy matchups, not very good opponents, just grow in the tournament. And we talked about this, and it was like my good matchups should be fire and water, and my awful matchups are going to be wind. So I was like, I just hope to dodge wind. That's my strategy.
I remember like when the Luxem like player came on screen, we were like in like Discord, like, bro, you cannot fight this deck. Like this is an auto loss.
I got 1 game of him. But yeah. So yeah, round 1 win Allies.
Go next. Man,
I even.
No, go ahead.
I could have even won that one, but I misplayed. Because I forgot the buff count. I swung everything in his ally. And I was like, it doesn't matter because I didn't have game anyway. And then I topped that guild, so I was like, shit, this would have been game.
It's like you said, honestly. I had like a little bit of catharsis because like As we were talking before, I was like, this deck is so shit. I can't wait to have a 50-minute episode just like telling him why the fuck did you play this deck? You could have played so many other decks. But yeah, again, yeah, the performance was incredible.
To be honest, if you look at the deck, I think one of the casters said as well, just a random pile of cards.
Yes,
Really.
for sure. like you're looking at the deck, right? You see like novice healer, and you're like, okay, you're trolling, right? Like this isn't the actual card you're playing. But we're gonna talk about that like later on in the episode about the deck itself and the various cards. Now I think we could talk about like what you thought about the meta generically in Seattle, because obviously this was the first meta of this format, and there were a lot of new decks and a lot of presence from new archetypes. I mean, I think let's just jump into it. The first thing obviously was the new boogeyman of the meta, which is the Archon Fractals. Like, what are your opinions on this deck?
So I was prepared for this deck, but then day one I only played 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's quite a different spread of decks, but this was, I think, is the best deck, or was the best deck.
Mm-hmm.
It has potential to just kill you turn 2. I got killed a few times turn 2 or 3. It's just so consistent. If they open like 3 fractals turn 1, you're a really tough spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this
and
no, go ahead.
Of course, the one new card is just broken that lets you draw 2.
Yeah, the one that you're also playing.
Yeah, but I don't draw though. But the problem is though, with this deck, as good as it is, there's many counters to it. It's not like tier 0. You saw at this tournament already, so many people countering it.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's interesting that like a lot of decks did well purely because they countered this deck. Like your deck is almost an example of that, right? Just purely because this deck has such a huge presence, and even though you only play 2 in day 1, you have this like such a good matchup against this deck, and you're so likely to see this deck like in day 2. That's like, okay, it's fine to play a counter. Just it's interesting because it's one of the things that happened in this event. There was a lot of aggro and a lot of anti-meta. Like compared to every single other Ascent, it was very like present in this one.
Yeah, but the Wind Luxem guy, he also made like 6, 7 Fantasia hate. So
Yeah.
I heard, I was sitting next to there's a bunch of people that were playing the Wind Luxem, all from Southern California. I was sitting next to them a few rounds, and I heard the opponents complain so often. Yeah, the guy drew with like 3 scatter essence and shit. What are you gonna do?
Actually, that's the next deck we're gonna talk about. But maybe do you still want to talk like about this deck specific? Like, do you think? Okay, so what is your generic view about this deck? I guess because this is like a more consistent like Icebound stratagem, right? Because you turn your temporary resources into permanent resources, and then you have this card that just like says, okay, deal 12 damage, deal 10 damage. Like it feels kind of pushed, right? Compared to what the last format was doing.
Kind of pushed.
Yeah, because like this deck, it basically feels like you're playing against water stratagem, but they high roll like way more often. But in this deck, it's not a high roll because they have so much glib, so much consistency.
Do they high roll that much though?
The Fractals deck.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like stratagem. You have the damage output of stratagem when it high rolls, but here it's not a high roll. It's just consistent because you have the Glimpse 4 fractal, you have the Glimpse 2 fractal. Like you are gonna see your cards.
Yeah, usually, yeah. Yeah, it is pretty consistent, but then again, like if you pressure them, sometimes like ally decks, they're gonna shoot their fractals at your ally, so that's damage you don't take. So it's much more counterable than the Icebound deck.
Yeah.
And what also a lot of people were complaining about the mirror match so much. People fucking hate this deck. They do not like playing this deck in the mirror match.
Yeah, I mean,
So I don't know if the next, like you would say, like best deck, more people gonna play it. Next tournament, the top 8 is gonna be 6 out of 8, right? I don't think. I think it might go into the other direction.
oh, you think this deck is gonna be seeing less play? Like a
Yeah, because people hate the mirror match so much from what I've got.
Yeah, it looks super frustrating, right? Because this new negate, this is like an incapacitate, like a better incapacitate, right? So it's just like a staring contest.
If you go first and you put 3 fractals down, you have such a huge advantage already.
Yeah, exactly. Because like if they want to negate something, it's like 100% negate, and you can't really. I mean, I guess you can pay, but then you're not killing them, so you're losing the game in the long run.
And in the Tony or the Icebound mirror match, you actually lost your high roll in the mirror match, right? Because if you Icebound slam them, they negate and then you're fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and here you still have everything. So I don't know. It is going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, and we're probably gonna talk about this deck, I guess, in a future upcoming episode. So let's move on to the next one, which is another breakout deck, which was Wind Luxem. You don't like this deck?
I hate Luxem so much. The Luxem is not even that relevant.
Yeah. They played like 7 Luxem cards, and it was like, I think on stream they went to Luxem like once, and it was just like, okay, it's late game, I'm gonna go Xander 3, I'm gonna show you 2 Luxem sites, and you can concede. Like, you're not gonna win, you're not gonna beat this.
Yeah. Like I said, it was a group of people from Southern California, I think, mostly that played this deck. And I beat 2 of them like a few times at Essence. So then I played EMP in last round, day 1, the guy that got second.
Yeah.
He was just bullying me. It was like, dude, I've told him to fuck off in one game more times than I can remember. And maybe I should watch my language more when I'm playing. I don't know.
I guess if it's all in good fun, like.
Yeah, but it was no good fun. I got thrashed. I don't know. I got one game, but he just plays Art of War, and then ensnaring fumes everything back.
Yeah.
And he kept doing that. At one point, and he keeps opening Sadi, and you can't kill the Sadi. So either you go face and they kill your stuff, or you try to kill the Sadi and then it goes back and you lose out on damage. So I have no idea what to do against this thing.
Yeah.
And game 3, the guy was just being a prick. he played Sadi. Then a few turns later, he played like a CSR Sadi. So I was like, dude, I know you got the other one. You're just flexing now. but good play to him. He is a nice guy. He got second. I wish he'd won.
Yeah, I think
this deck. Yeah.
I think everyone wanted kind of to, because Diao Chan was like the boogeyman of this event. So everyone was like, please, I hope this deck doesn't win. But I mean, obviously in the end, like it was a very close match. Obviously, like it could have been anyone's game, but Diao Chan did win.
I didn't see it.
You weren't literally in the event.
Yeah, but I was moping. I saw bits of it, but
yeah.
But let me see. Yeah, the deck just can the win card. They have like Veiling Breeze and Scatter Essence, so they have outs like to all the fractal shit, and it's just so annoying to deal with. And they always play like this is like the 3 turbo charge gang, so they always have like million influence.
Yeah, for sure.
So I knew this from the start. This was the deck I wanted. I told you I wanted to dodge specifically this deck.
Yeah, I remember, and we were talking about it. Like, at the end of the day, it was like, no, it's not happening. Like this deck, and this is the one that, because it's also interesting because we also saw like ensnaring fumes being used in a different way than people are used to. Like, he probably tagged in the card because it like destroys G.O.A.T, but then it's like in other matchups, it's just like, okay, here's an ensnaring fume. I'm gonna bounce everything and like get like go like +2 in a way, and you have no more.
Yeah, I asked him why did you play 3 ensnaring fumes? Because are you expecting allies? That's insane. Nobody's playing allies if they're in the right mind. But they can, what you say, they can bounce back the purifiers, the windmill engineers and stuff like that too.
Yeah, exactly. They just used to go plus. It's like, it is really crazy to like. Cause I don't think you've ever seen like anyone use ensnaring fumes like that. But it makes sense. Like when you have like all these strong on enters that win you matchups. Like, okay, I'm gonna play a purifier. I'm gonna reclaim it. I'm gonna play a purifier and a Sadi. I'm gonna fumes. It's a lot of value. The deck like grinds value like crazy.
Yeah, and they've been on it for a long time, so they know how the deck works. I was playing this deck at locals, but I just got
just got dumpstered.
I was last round of locals. I was sitting down against my friend, and he's playing the stratagem deck. It was still in the old format, so I made a joke, you know, like I didn't know I can get a buy when I go 2-1. And then he played fucking Idle Tots. So I was like, dude, what the fuck what are you doing? And then he just kills me 2-3. And then that's when I decided, no, this deck's not for me.
Should have drawn Veiling, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess let's talk about the last breakout, or the last, I guess, breakout archetype that we saw, which was like Fire Aggro, which in general, like, there were like 4 or 5 variations of this deck.
You have no spine. You were gonna put the other card, but you put the red hair in the end.
Okay, so this red hair, like, I think this card is not. I don't think this card is good. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, The card is good, like in a vacuum, but it makes you run bad cards, which is what I don't like about this card specifically.
I don't think those cards are that bad because it's like stealth allies you play.
I mean, it's a one
And you can't
damage
get
like
rid of it.
stealth
Yeah,
ally.
but you pair it with the dagger, it's still just consistent damage you can't get rid of.
I guess maybe.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure this deck is going to be like a lot stronger when you have like better like red unique humans, because like
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this card like the one drop stealth is like the first card that's getting cut. Like the moment we see like a more playable unique,
yeah.
it's like get out. But so yeah, red hair here is a like I guess more for Xander, but it was also played in Goja obviously, and we also had like the Diao-Chan variants which were more I guess more spell oriented. There was also obviously the chess club deck, which was like not really. It was like an aggro deck that wasn't an aggro deck.
You want to say it was shit, but you don't want to upset.
Because like every time I look at that deck, it's like I feel like this could have just been like the more optimized version. But okay, but for that matchup specifically, it makes sense, right? Because but I don't know. Even then, I honestly don't understand because
The deck looked like when you want to say a deck is shit, you say deck looked interesting.
interesting. Yeah, exactly.
But honestly, I don't know. The deck actually did look interesting. But it was such a weird. It was original, and the one guy topped 8, so I guess it must be something to it. But I haven't seen it yet. But I haven't seen the deck in action or anything. It's a deck you should see in action before you
Actually,
judge it.
No, it
But
was on
I don't
stream
really-
like a couple times, but
Yeah, but I was playing the event, so I didn't
yeah,
see everything.
of course. But it's just really confusing, right? Because as the outchan, you already have access to this card that like basically wins you the aggro matchup. But then they decide to go like, okay, put in fast cures, they put in the 1/2 floating memory like Fantasia ally too.
Yeah.
It's just like
But I can see some of that train of thought. Like you can level to 3 if you have Fire Bloom Flourish, right? And you usually loan cards, so you get the card back. So it really helps you a little bit going to 3 with your influence. So I can get that.
yeah, I think I guess from the games on stream they parked at level 1 a lot. Like I don't think I would have to talk
It's
with them,
not
right? Because I can also kind of see the logic behind level 3, right? Because it's kind of like a mind freeze against like but apparently they didn't even know about like okay, so I guess I have inside information that chess
yeah,
club.
who did you talk to?
You know who I talked to.
No, I don't.
No, it was a TTA, I guess, the sixth.
Oh, Steven.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he told me
My
like
man, Steven.
the way they built this deck was because they weren't very aware of what the meta was going to be like. So they just like built a deck that okay, let's try and build the deck that takes well into a lot of matchups. So like in my mind, like okay, you're gonna play the L3 because you want to play against fractals and you want to make them pay for everything. But then again, they didn't really know that fractals was gonna be a thing. So it's like, why are you playing the L3 like just blindly? Like the card, it feels like the card doesn't do anything.
I don't know. I think that Terra Fantasia thingy that you can play from your material deck.
The wand, I guess, that turns your Fantasias into allies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that card. So I'm kind of curious if they got it out a lot. I hope they did because that card's lovely. But yeah, I probably this is a deck I want to go back to the stream and see how it did because I haven't seen it. And if you haven't seen it in action, it's interesting.
Yeah, it feels like it's a very difficult deck to play as well. Like the card choices and the way they were playing, like it feels like it's not an easy deck. Like it's not the easy version of this deck, basically.
No, the easy version is just burn shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's the version I like.
That's the red hair one. I played 2 of them with the red hairs, the burn decks. They were so close. One was actually I played the Wind Allies guy, round 1, and then I played his girlfriend round 7. So we were both 5-1. We both needed one more win to make day 2. And she was playing this deck. And I didn't know, I'm not familiar with the deck. So I was like, am I getting killed by burn, like spell damage, or am I getting killed by allies? So I got greedy again because every time I play against Pfizer, I make the same mistake. They get out the 1/1 floating, right? And I don't kill it because I'm like, I don't want to give you floating because you get +1 and
And
then they just
damage.
beat me down with it. And it was like 1 damage, that exact lethal. But then I won games 2 and 3, but yeah, that deck it goes so fast. I healed for. That's where the Novus healers come in. I healed for like 10 that game.
I guess we're just gonna move along and talk about that because I guess the part that everyone wants to hear about, which is, You said you didn't want to give this deck a name, or you said you're gonna call it DoA Allies. I think we're gonna call this deck, or you should call this deck, G.O.A.T Allies.
G.O.A.T Allies, I like it.
And
But
G.O.A.T.
I would never call myself the GOAT or anything like that. That's just...
Well, look, it's G.O.A.T because
I'm a humble person.
It's G.O.A.T because it's grand abuse of taxes.
Yeah, you found something nice.
But yeah, so
it's the American way.
So let's talk about G.O.A.T Allies. So I guess you showed me this deck basically a week ago from today, and my first thought about this deck was, this deck is garbage. Like,
dude, I got so many people messaging me like, congratulations and doing day 2 and hope you win and stuff. Half of them were like, why? What the fuck? What are you doing? What is this?
Like, you look at this and it's like, okay, is this guy like trying to spike the price of like Sweet Ambrosia or DoA Allies? Like,
I wish those prices spiked. I have none of them to sell.
DoA Allies like spiked like crazy.
Yeah, and I'm not even making a buck of it. I hate it when people make money off me.
Man, I remember like the day after Ascent, we were like, man, we should actually just, because we talked about the cards and we knew about the deck and we didn't even like buy the cards. Like...
But they'll go down because it's crazy. And who knows if the deck's actually good, right? If it's 1/1 Ascent, if it did well at 1 Ascent, so
yeah.
The funny thing is, I see a bunch of people already trying to make their own version, and they butcher it, man. They butcher my deck.
I remember like the first thing I like when I saw people buying out this deck, I was like, the first thing I said was, people are gonna build this, they're gonna lose locals, they're gonna call it the shittiest deck ever, and then they're gonna be like, and it's like, okay, I spent 80 euros on a playset of Dawn of Ashes. Like, what did I do?
Yeah.
But I guess let's go over the choices of the deck.
Yeah. So material deck. Yeah, everybody asks me, why are you playing Arizona?
Yes. It was also the first question I made you, like, why are you playing Cleric? And it's like, well, because I have a couple of cards that, but then, okay, it's like I explained, like, you picked Cleric because you had a couple of cards that cared, but then you started gradually cutting those cards, and like the day before the Ascent, you messaged me like, maybe I shouldn't be playing Cleric.
Yeah, and then some other guy messaged me, you should play like Tristan or like Xander with all this stuff. I was like, yeah, I didn't bring any of those cards, man. I can't change. I mean, you're probably right, but nothing I can do about it now. But to be honest, I think I would have maybe picked Arizona anyways in the end. Yeah,
the level herbs, like that was crazy. Like the plays that enabled. That was insane.
Yeah, you can with the Blanchy, you can also, all the herbs are usable, right? And the recover 1 is nice. The level 1 helps with Blanchy, and the swapper card is good if you have too many like dead cards in your hand. So that's all useful. It's not good, but it can be used.
Yeah, it's not like a fully dead champion.
The thing is though, Arizona might be better, is that I should have played Polaris. I don't know why the fuck I did.
Because like the first, like the casters, like it was so funny trying to see the casters like rationalize this deck, because like the first thing that they do is like, oh, he's a genius, he plays Arizona for Polaris, and then like I was sitting here listening to the stream like, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
So many people were like, how did you lose to Wind Allies? You just play Polaris and wipe the board. And I was like, yeah, I don't play Polaris.
And like you even have like because I saw other people say like, oh, he needs to, okay, he doesn't run Polaris because he has to run Ingredient Pouch, so Polaris deals enough damage. But like you don't need to. You have the automaton that gives you like herbs. So it's like it would just make sense, right?
Even 2 would be fine, because then you can like, if
you trade into their board.
If you have 1/3 ally out, like a 1 attack ally, and you wipe for 2, and then you can just, with 2 allies, you can still kill them, right? So, and you get rid of all those stealth units with 2 health, because those are annoying. So yeah, I should have definitely run Polaris, but in my mind it was like, I'm playing allies, so I'm never gonna blow up the board,
I don't want to blow up my own board.
But that's what you get if you don't test. Then you don't. I figured this out while testing, right? That's Seattle.
I mean, But okay, the other card that's like stand out here, or I guess the other two cards obviously are I guess I'll call it cleric cards, Sweet Ambrosia and the Hairpin. When you messaged me saying like because before you had another water regalia or it was something else basically, and then suddenly you messaged me like, bro, Sweet Ambrosia, and I'm like, okay, this guy's actually trolling. Like,
Oh, you want all the heal you can get. You just want to stay. You want to stay alive.
but it feels like such a waste, right? 'Cause you're wasting your materialization to recover 3 health, like from your regalia.
Yeah, but if they have like if you're playing as a Fractals and you're looking at the hand, they're looking at the hand. They're like, I could do exact lethal, and then they see Sweet Ambrosia. They're not gonna go for it.
Hmm.
So you get time to set up and shit. So the heal 3 is actually really quite clutch. I don't know if I changed the deck if I would still play it, but the heal 3 is much better than you expect. Because imagine this, right? Because you got the Novus healer and you got the Zhangju. Pair that with the Ambrosia and you heal 6 or 7. That's a lot.
Hmm. I mean, it's certainly better than the what you had before because you had the Beastbound boots.
Yeah, I had this one.
Which your only
I still
enabler was Academy Guy.
Yeah, but if you yeah, I mean I was like, you draw Academy Guide, you got an extra out.
And then they kill your Academy Guy, and you just fuck.
Yeah, okay, but
What about the
I was
hairpin? Like,
yeah, in theory it's good. In practice it's not so good. You're never gonna really destroy anything with it.
yeah, like
It's too slow.
it's just an annoyance, right? Like you pop it, they pay, and it's like, okay, bro.
It helped out a little bit here and there, but it's not that good. So I would cut that for Polaris.
And keep the Sweet
Maybe
Ambrosia.
Well, I'd maybe cut the Wind Bob. I want to play something else. I have another card I want to play, but that's top secret theft.
Oof.
So I can't. So I'll quote I'll quote Caben. No leaks.
Okay. I guess now I'm curious about this too.
I'll message you in a bit. Although it's you can unlock the secret deck for $5.99.
Subscribe and donate to the channel. But
Did we mention we're gonna? Did you mention we're gonna do a giveaway at the end?
what giveaway?
We're not, but that lures in more people.
Just a farm engagement.
Yeah.
Everyone that subscribes gets a free subscription. But so let's move on to the main deck. I think the main deck is why most people call this deck like a pile of cards because this is like literally like a DoA or a FTC like meta deck. It's just like two threes and just send.
Like people ask me mostly why I played the Academy Guide, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically the reason I played the Academy Guide is because I ran out of all the good allies to play.
I mean,
I was looking through all the good allies, the 2/3s and stuff, and I picked all of them, and then I still had to play a few more. So I was like, "Oh, Academy Guide levels me up for free."
It literally does something, I guess.
Yeah. And actually, it's quite. I thought it was pretty decent. I mean, you play it, and also it has a target on the back because people want to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes they got rid of the Academy Guide instead of the 2/3, which is fine with me.
Yeah.
The Academy Guide was fine.
There's that whole, really old saying that Academy Guide is the most expensive version of Stalwart Shieldmate.
Yeah. It's not that expensive anymore.
I mean, it's a 20-cent card versus like a 20 euro card.
Yeah.
That peaked at like 90, so at the time it was funny. But
this deck was quite. I think this deck was quite cheap a week ago.
It's probably the cheapest. I guess like okay, Zoot. I guess
Citadel's also is spiked from like.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. This card was $5, like, and now it's like 35.
I bought them from Kaduko for 5 each. He sent them to me. I was like, I know stuff you don't, my friend.
But yeah, now with the Zhang Jiao and the Zhu Cheng, it's like, no, this it's no longer budget, man. Now it's pretty expensive. But,
Okay.
No,
go ahead, ask me.
What do you think about the Shangjiang, like the Imbi rally?
Yeah, that's a pretty good ally. I mean, they have to have the norm
The Nascent Blast.
No, the other one. The Fractal Missile in Norm.
Oh, Shimmering Refraction.
Yeah. That's how they get rid of it. Otherwise, they can't get rid of it. Or not easy. Not very easily, anyways. So yeah, that's basically because you want like in allies, at least when I play allies, you also want to go first, play an ally, and then backup charger next turn. But you want your ally to survive, right? So it's always been like lurking, shimmer cloak, and now you got another one because if you play this, they're not getting rid of it because you have no protection. So if you play the ally, it's not like you can like play fast something at fast speed to protect it because you got none.
Yeah.
So in that regard, it helps you really with your turn one plays as well, and it's a really solid card. And you always get well. Actually, no. One time I couldn't imbue it because I put the wrong cards in my memory, and then I was stuck holding one other card, and I was like, "Shit, I can't imbue it."
Like, actually, speaking of opening plays, like, what would you say is like your, I guess, your ideal hand? Like, would you rather, like, obviously, Dawn of Ashes and the Citadel are probably like the most ideal cards to have in your opener.
Well, actually, whenever I opened Dawn of Ashes and Citadel, it annoyed me so much because if you go turn one Citadel, they don't have recollection on the first turn, right?
Okay.
So you go Dawn of Ashes first. Then next turn you want to play Citadel, but it costs one more because it's
Oh
water.
yeah.
So the math doesn't work out. So it's when that happened, I had to figure out what to do. So I think I usually went with the Dawn of Ashes and then played the Citadel a few turns later when I developed some board, or I went with the Citadel and I played Dawn of Ashes, like go to 8 next turn and go Dawn of Ashes ally or something. I don't know. I just I just think of it on the spot, really.
Yeah. I think there was a game on stream where you did exactly that, right? It's like it was like turn like 5, and it's like I'm just gonna drop a Citadel and hope it like turn blocks him, like just for a turn.
I think I played one Citadel on stream, and I hoped he would negate it, which he did, because I had Blanchy, right? Because people they see it and like, shit, I need to negate this, but I was like, I don't really need this right now, but I do need the Blanchy on board. So I baited his negate, which he negated, and then I could play the Blanchy and it was safe. I think I won that game.
Yeah, Blanchy was
Funniest thing is that Dawn of Ashes spiked while I played it on stream, game 1, and I lost. And then games 2 and 3, I didn't draw it. I just beat them down with allies, and
yeah, that was the most entertaining part about seeing like the matches, because it's like, oh, this is the Dawn of Ashes allies, and then like half the games there's just no Dawn of Ashes like on the field. It's just normal ally beatdown.
that's the thing though with this deck. It's not reliant on just the Dawn of Ashes. It has multiple win conditions. Against the fractals, you can get the fractal hate, you can get the ally beatdown, you can get the taxation. So it has like it's not like if you don't draw Dawn of Ashes you lose. So it has multiple angles. So that's why I think it's pretty decent.
Yeah, just Blanchy, like this format just felt, or this event, I guess, Blanchy felt like a super MVP. Like there were a lot of times where you just slow speed play her, and like you felt like it just completely broke their brain. Like, how am I gonna get over this Blanchy?
I should. Sometimes I went for the Purifier, thinking I was safe because I was not very the fractal decks was not very known to me how it plays, right? So I was like, I'll be safe, and then I died next turn. But if I just played the Blanchy, they have to deal with the Blanchy, and the only way they can deal with the Blanchy usually is with the fractals and stuff. That's usually damage that goes face. So if they have to kill the Blanchy, they won't be killing you. So that card's amazing.
Let's see if it also spikes
it. Oh, it did?
I'm pretty sure. But this card is kind of crazy. Like, of course, FTC got printed like a ton, but like Blanchy, like this card just breaks the format, right? It stops First Asunder, it stops the aggro decks. Like,
I didn't even know this. This is where you should have helped me out. I've already ranted to you about. I was before round 1. I saw a bunch of people playing, right? And the guy had like 8 fractals, and then the other guy goes burst asunder, and the opponent goes safeguard. And I was watching, and he put the burst asunder in his grave, and I was like, why don't you just blow up 8 fractals and do 14 damage? And he was like, it doesn't work like that, my friend.
Like,
I was like, what?
I was convinced that you do this because, like, I even went to like I guess the judge chat to confirm this, because the wording is kind of weird. Like it says like two additionally for every fractal, so you think like, okay, it's 2, and it's like a big burst.
Yeah, it should be. In my opinion, it should be like 1 instance, right? The way it's worded,
or at least like it's like 2 instances, right? The 2 damage, because Okay, the logic that it feels like is like, okay, the 2 damage is there to break spell shield, and then you take a big burst.
Yeah, fair enough, but it shouldn't be like 2s.
I mean,
But yeah,
it's better that
I
it's
didn't
2 because
know.
the safeguard and Blanche just
Yeah, it's
stops
better.
it.
I wish you told me.
Okay, you're the one getting like top 32 at Ascent, bro. You should know this.
Yeah. But my motto is like you can't break any rules if you don't know any rules.
So I guess
I forgot the upkeep from Dawn of Ashes a few times as well.
if this was what was the it was a Melbourne. It was before Melbourne, like the Razor Gale event, or like the guy got a game loss. Yeah, the guy got a game loss for forgetting. Like if you were on stream and this happened, you probably also get a game loss.
I got a warning. I've got 4 turns, and then he called the judge, and I got a warning.
Did you get called for a Zushang?
What's that?
Because apparently there's also like a
Oh, dude, it was so annoying. No, because my opponents all understood. Because most of the time my opponents are not douchebags, so they just understand that when I have the Citadel out, they're gonna have to pay too, right? I mean, people, you have to pay your taxes. There's no way around it. I got like in the Netherlands, we get these blue envelopes. This means you have to pay your taxes. I should play on like an playmat of this. So you can't scam the tax man. So just pay. But on stream, the judge in my ear was like, you have to announce your triggers. So sometimes my opponent would be like waiting to recollect, and he would be looking at me with this grin on his face. I was like, oh yeah, trigger.
Yeah,
I had to announce all the triggers.
It's a super annoying card because like it's your trigger, but it requires input from them. So it's like he literally has to stop. Like.
But everybody knows you are gonna have to pay the two. So
yeah, it's just
not,
judges being judges.
I get it because they want smooth play, but
exactly.
And they're probably technically right.
And literally right.
I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know. I'm not the judge.
So I guess that's just for a closer. Like
the only card I want to maybe cut the Nias. They worked well. The one time I played them, I think I played them on stream. Was pretty good, but I didn't really like those that much.
That's kind of like in line with what I was gonna ask. Would you still play this deck as water? Like if you had like do revision of the deck?
I think you can only play this deck as water because the Citadel's water.
Mm-hmm. And you think okay?
I mean, you could play like maybe fire and then play with Arthurs or something and just rush them down. But I think the Citadel's just too busted. Because you saw those people paying 5 and 6 for the Frostborn Paladins, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they get to play 1 card a turn against the burn deck, which is low influence. I mean, how are you gonna pay 2 extra?
It's just because of the play pattern that you said that like if you play Dawn of Ashes, your Citadel gets like super delayed. So you kind of want to skip Dawn of Ashes turn 1 so you can Citadel turn 2. But obviously, if you get turn 2, like it just breaks their game like completely. Like from then on, where you're like paying 5 for Frostborn Paladin, bro. Like no.
I mean, the deck needs some testing and refining, and then I'm sure you can find the optimal play patterns. I didn't have them, but
I mean, 10th place, that's pretty damn good. Like with a brand new deck that was made 5 days prior, that's pretty damn good. I'd say.
I made it on Tuesday because I was playing the Turbo Dragon deck, and I really wanted the Turbo Dragon deck to work because there's nothing funnier than going 2-turn Dragon. Well, it wasn't there, and then I had to switch. And what else am I gonna play? I built this, and I was like, normally I bring more decks. This time I was like, no, I'm just sticking with it. I told people it's either hit or miss. I can get very good plays, or it's just gonna be like sucks. And either way, you are gonna have a good time.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, I like the
all those fucking. But I do love these Europeans. Oh, they're so funny. The guy, the chat exploded as well again, right? On the YouTube stream. But I looked the guy up, the Bionic that cost a mess. That's not a European. That is an American. So they can't blame us. I looked him up. But I was sitting with the guy I played last round. We had dinner afterwards, and I was on the same train as him to the airport. And we were both like, dude, did you see the comments? It was like, no, the live chat is off. And we were like, yeah, I can't wait to go home and read it. I was like, they're probably gonna trash you a lot. I was like, yeah, don't mind. I'm so curious. This is gonna be so fun.
No, I was kind of surprised like how many people like this deck, because this deck reads as a deck that you don't like to play, like because it's a tax deck, right? Normally people are like, okay, this sucks, but everyone's like, oh, this is fun. I want this deck to win. Like like I think it's one of the decks that it looks fun to see, but it looks like it's total like pain to play against. Like you never want to fall against this deck.
You have to ask my opponents, but I think I think it's pretty painful, and they have to do a lot of math. Sometimes their turns take a bit longer. Those matches are a grind though. Sometimes it just takes. I was playing against main deck Mitch again. Nice guy. He beat me in 5 minutes again, round 1, game 1. So I was like, dude, you got to stop doing this, man. But then I won game 2, and game 3 went all the way to like a minute on the clock, and I grinded him down to literally 0 cards in hand, and then still he could ingredient pounce, roll a herb, and recover to stay alive. So sometimes it takes a while to close out the games, but yeah, those main deck people are nice. I saw some other from those teams. They all came. Everybody was really excited to see this, but I think it's because it's like one of the old cards, like Dawn of Ashes, right? It's like those old school cards that you never imagined anybody would play, and then if you see that card play, it's like nice.
Yeah, it's one of those cards that like in the back of their minds, everyone's like, I wish this card was playable. Like they're just waiting for a deck where this card is played. Yeah. I think that's I guess it for that we can talk for. Well, like I guess we kind of exhausted this topic, right? We talked about all the matchups and new decks, and most importantly about G.O.A.T Allies, as we're gonna start calling it.
G.O.A.T Allies. I like the ring of that.
So yeah, I guess that's it for us. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please.
Are we gonna announce the next episode already, or are we gonna not do that?
The topic or I guess when we're.
Oh no, I don't mind.
I mean, we can, I guess, just.
We can also make. We have a surprise guest on the next one, so I'll tune in. Even though maybe it's gonna be our last episode. Who knows?
No, they say that like you have to pass the 3-episode like mark to be like an actual show. So let's see if we survive the third one.
There's a good chance we're getting cancelled.
But yeah. We're gonna try to have that episode for you next week, Thursday as well. We're gonna try like to make it more of a regular thing. Last week, obviously, we didn't have an episode because Henkie was getting ready for Ascent Seattle, obviously. But we're gonna see if we can do it a more regular thing. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's it from us. I thank you for watching. Leave in a comment if you liked it. We hope we made it better today compared to the last time. We're reading all the comments, trying to improve, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.